What the freak? Wait. Hold up. Something funky's going on. Gosh, every time I think I figure it out, some bullcrap on like the streaming, like OBS studios and streaming, like there's always some damn issue, lag or freaking. Let me see what's going on. Okay, we're live. But apparently, we're not live on the short side of things. Are we freaking live now? Because damn. I don't know how like people figure this out like on the fly. There's no tutorials until a YouTuber makes it. It's really annoying. It says I'm live. I don't believe it. On the short side of things. But whatever. Freaking A, dude. Okay. So, man, I can't believe it's screwing up this bad. But anyways, I was on the Average Boys podcast. Some of you saw. Here's the thing. It got me thinking. We are I think the fans are pretty much worried about the whole Paramount situation, right? Not for me. I'm not necessarily worried, as in we're going to like about them making their money back, but that was actually a pretty big talk on what's going on with them and the kind of debt that they're in, all that fun stuff, right? Damn. But I wasted like an hour today trying to figure this out. But okay, so the money side of things. One thing I think nobody's really talking about, I haven't seen anybody talking about it really, is the potential for freaking video games. Again, sorry if there's a huge amount of lag. It's super annoying today. But video games as a whole, okay? So video games, I'm going to show you the kind of potential they got, right? Let me go on X real quick. I reposted, some dude on X. I never use X. Really? Like, I'm starting to kind of use it, but I don't even like staying on here. So, okay. We'll go down the list of what Paramount currently owns, right? And again, I know I'm talking about the same thing that I used to talk about. I talked about the last like few weeks or so, but I do think it is important, at least in the nerd sphere. Okay, so Paramount now controls HBO, HBO Max, CNN, CBS, DC Studios, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Paramount, Nickelodeon, MTV, Showtime, TNT, Comedy Central, Turner Classic Movies, which is TCM, DC Comics. They now control Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Transformers, The Conjuring, A Quiet Place, Mortal Kombat, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Beetlejuice, Gremlins, SpongeBob SquarePants, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dora the Explorer. Look, a huge way that Paramount can actually make a ton of money is through video games. Okay, I'm going to show you guys, or not show you, but iterate something. You guys remember the video game Elden Ring? If you're not retarded, you should probably remember it. Okay, Elden Ring, it estimated how much they actually made. They sold over 30 million copies. And I think with the microtransaction, it was between 1.8 to almost $2 billion in an amount of 2 years of its release. Okay. So think about it this way. Let's say each video game they launch, they at least make $1 billion, $2 billion. They got opportunities, which is insane, that Warner Brothers didn't even think of making. Like just Elden Ring alone. Why couldn't we make a Lord of the Rings video game like Elden Ring? Like, why haven't we done that? What the hell are we doing here? So let's say, by the way, it would be much bigger than Elden Ring by a long shot. It would be one of the biggest video games to ever be created in terms of the fantasy. Like I'd call it mid-high fantasy. Like there's fantasy, like crazy fantasy, which is like Dungeons and Dragons. It has like everything, or like Warhammer. But Lord of the Rings, I would say Lord of the Rings got their own category. But anyways, so Lord of the Rings. Make Lord of the Rings video games. Game of Thrones. We saw Hogwarts Legacy, Harry Potter. For some reason, we haven't had a Star Trek video game. That's crazy to me. We've never really, we've had James Bond video games. How can Warner Brothers capitalize on Mission Impossible through a freaking video game? Like, we're thinking if only TV shows and movies. How are they going to make $200 billion? Because there was also an estimated amount that their current debt stands at around 80 or 79, 179 or $79 billion is their current debt, like Paramount in total, before the acquisition. I'm not sure if that's completely true, but it makes sense to me. But anyways, so you got that going on, and they got to figure out how to pay whoever they borrowed money from. They don't have to focus on just one median, streaming service or movie theaters. Dude, video games and those kind of transactions. Like, again, also they need to go after the toy rights and all that stuff. But video games, I think, is where they're going to be making, where they can make a lot of money. Like a Transformers video game would be freaking phenomenal. Mortal Kombat. That is a video game. That is like they have the rights to make movies, but like they can talk to the studios or the video game companies that currently hold these properties and make deals and new contracts on using the characters that Warner Brothers Skydance now owns all of it, right? So imagine if we're getting, I'm not gonna say Dora Explorer or Gremlins, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, Transformers, Mission Impossible. It'd be like a nice, different kind of James Bond movie or video game. Star Trek, that you have endless ways of doing a Star Trek video game, and you could add on to the actual stuff that's really good. Like the, what's it called? Not go to whatever the new shows are, like the Picard. I try not to follow Star Trek at all, even though pretty much every YouTuber that I like, they keep talking about Star Trek, and I'm like, well, I'm not watching this live stream because it's just gonna be retarded. Star Trek is gay. That's what it is today. It's freaking gay. Again, I digress. So, Star Trek, is it Brave New Worlds or Starfleet Academy? Is that what it's called right now? Yeah, you can actually do a different universe so that those shows don't count through the video games, right? Lord of the Rings, you can combine Peter Jackson's world with also the books and make it really extensive. You know, Game of Thrones, it's a pretty much no-brainer. Video games and arts, their video game company, they like to do that quite a bit. So they always had the main timeline, and then you could pick dark side or light side, right? So that, I think that's actually a pretty good way to, you know, maybe rewrite Game of Thrones seasons, you know, at least 6 through 8. You could start back at 5. I'd be fine with that. And then use the voices, hire those actors again, make a video game out of it, and do something that the fans actually like, even without rebooting the show, right? So that's a massive possibility. And then you got like kind of like the stuff from Cartoon Network. You got you got a lot of stuff. And then Harry Potter alone, you know, like Hogwarts Legacy was a freaking hit, and you could do a sequel to that. It's not freaking rocket science. This is where you're gonna make your money back. If you make a good game, guaranteed $1 billion. You got first person shooter possibilities. You got your like open world possibilities. You got a bunch of stuff. Dude, a Transformers video game where you just play an Autobot, or like, think about the way I think about a Transformers video game. The best way I would do it would be Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, where you have the light side and the dark side, or the dark campaign and the light campaign, where it all results to the same ending, but you get to see the perspective of the Decepticons and the perspective of the Autobots, and then maybe after you complete both of those perspectives, there's another campaign that's kind of like right down the middle. But yeah, like I think there's a tremendous opportunity there for not only for them to make their money back, but just grow the brands that they currently have, grow their company, swing whichever way. Like just have the pendulum right there. Don't pick a side. Just focus on storytelling, and you're solid. But anyways, and again, if you guys have questions about all this stuff with Paramount, like obviously I'm not the freaking guru or like the expert on this stuff. I just have my opinions, but feel free to freaking ask, man. Quite simple stuff. Anyways, we're gonna get into the YouTube stuff. We're gonna react to some videos, especially not YouTube, Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm a huge fan of Dark Magicians. I love freaking Dark Magicians. All right. I just what? I just personally have been waiting for so long for Dark Magician support to come out. And I usually don't watch a whole lot of videos on Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers, because they're all like inflated, kind of. They all have like some sort of personality, like, hey, you know, it's like the Logan Paul of YouTube is back with these Yu-Gi tubers. But we'll get to it. Let's this first video, Team 6 Samurai, or Team Samurai. I'd probably say he's the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber. I like some of his stuff. I hate a lot of his stuff as well. But the title of this video kind of got me thinking, you know, new Yu-Gi cards are busted, how Chaos Origins will change Yu-Gi-Oh forever. I'm just going to point it out. Like, if you are doing the meta way, where it's like everybody has the same 20 hand traps, then yeah, it could be busted. But if you're doing a full Yu-Gi like Dark Magician deck, as you saw me playing Master Duel, it's not going to be busted, because that's what the deck archetype is. It's not 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Infinite Imperm, 3 whatever, like all this other bullcrap. But anyways, let's get to his video. You know the meta sucks. We all know that. But let's see what he has to say. And seems like it's a long one.
Konami just did something they haven't done in 22 years. Yugi is officially back in a core set. The last time this happened was in 2004 with Rise of Destiny.
Was
Chaos
it?
Origin is in a side set. This is not a nostalgia reprint. This right here is a full core set called Chaos Origins. This set is bringing brand new Chaos support that might actually shake up competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we're breaking down 10 new Chaos cards and explaining.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he's not actually. All right. Again, this has been an issue for me, man. I don't think they need to keep making new archetypes. Like this should focus. This should be able to work in Yugi's deck with your normal Dark Magician Girl, all that stuff. Like, but they created a freaking another archetype. I believe that the Shiny Sarcophagus failed. I think that archetype failed. Like, people are mixing so many things in that they only use Shiny Sarcophagus and like maybe 5-6 other cards. All the other cards nobody really wants to use. So, and the artwork for this is phenomenal. Like, look at that. It looks freaking great. But you're telling me that this is like, I just don't think. And now, is it going to work in terms of competitively? Most likely. Is it going to work as its own archetype versus other archetype, taking away hand traps and actually playing the game in a competitive and fun way? Freak no. And it'll eventually die out because Konami doesn't really care. But anyway, let's see what else he has to say.
Some of these effects are way stronger than people realize. And I'm going to be showing you guys some in real game combos to showcase how powerful these new cards really are. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's start off with the one that sets everything up. First, we got Black Chaos, the ultimate magical swordsman. This card right here is a level 8 dark spellcaster effect monster with a stats of 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Cannot be normal summoner set, must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling a spellcaster or warrior ritual monster from your hand or graveyard into the deck. You can only special summon Black Chaos, the ultimate magical swordsman, once per turn this way. You can discard this card, place one continuous trap that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness from your deck or graveyard on your field face up. This card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects while you have a ritual spell in your graveyard, and once per turn, you can banish 2 cards your opponent controls. So what makes this card crazy is that it does 3 things in one. It places a continuous trap directly from your deck face up, in this case, Mind Shuffle, which starts off all your combos. And it also has a built-in immunity while a ritual spell card is in your graveyard, and it has a non-target banish 2 effect. Non-target banish. It banishes 2 cards your opponent control. Non-target.
That's pretty nuts.
Insane. Yeah. This card isn't just a monster. This is your starter and your board breaker, and it gets even better paired off with the next card. Next, Skull Archfiend of Chaos. This card.
And
can
again,
you be a travel advisor without
F me. Again, I keep telling you, I do need an ad blocker. Team Samurai, I don't care if you love him or hate him. His edits are pretty freaking great. His, like the AI he uses, the transitions, the effects, they're freaking awesome.
Level 6 Dark Fiend effect monster with a stats 2500 attack and 1200 defense, exactly like Summon Skull, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 3 cards in the graveyards and or face up banishment, including a card that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness.
Okay, he's gonna break this down.
Archfiend of Chaos. Place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard,
I am no longer interested in hearing this video. Great. You're gonna show me how it's all good and how it's broken. Like, they're cool cards with crazy effects, and it's a new archetype. Don't care. I'll get them, but I don't really care about hearing the breakdown. I'll play it myself. Moving on, the Cali effect. It's a YouTuber that I actually really like. I don't agree with all his takes. Some of the stuff that he does is corny, But
Big
overall,
dogs, there was some huge drama from YCS Sydney that we need to talk about.
Things from like the stream
Oh man,
to we ain't got the monies.
to everything in between, and
wait, the quality in this video isn't like the other ones. It's interesting.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about the last YCS and the events that happened over the weekend. Let's go ahead and jump on in.
All right.
What's going on with y'all, big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day
Is it?
phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day.
Except like, you know, the next month, year. You can let it ruin all that. Just have a good day.
Yo, that's crazy. But you know what else is crazy? I think it's time for us to do it. It just so happens to be a particular time where I trick you, or we trick you into thinking that this is a Yu-Gi-Oh video, when in actuality we want you a better person overall. Don't worry, if you don't like being a better person, we got time.
By the way, he does this a lot in like all his vids. It's just he gives like a little bit of motivation and like just tell you like, hey man, like, you know, have a good time. If you guys go check out his channel, The Cali Effect. This is the first time I've seen him with this dude. This dude is like on a lot of his shorts and like little skits and some of his videos, but like actually like collabing and them two together. It's cool. You got a little podcast going on.
She can skip. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about rheumatoid arthritis because it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 years of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass until last Friday.
Yep.
So for the people that don't know, I am taking medication. The name of the medication is Imbral, and it's been doing pretty well at keeping my rheumatoid arthritis at bay. And unfortunately,
Dude, I don't care about your arthritis.
Yeah, all these approvals.
Yep.
So last month, I went an entire month without taking my medication. Now, I've been taking this medication, or medication like, boy, my hands were swollen, my feet was swollen. I had an interception to win the game. And now I'm back to business. I guess the moral of the story of what I'm trying to say is that bad things are going to happen to you all of.
Okay.
It's really all about outlook, but YCS Sydney, my man.
All right. Now we're getting to the actual video.
I saw a decent portion of the stream. Did you get to see the stream?
Nope.
Oh,
You know what I was doing all weekend?
well, you know what? Yeah, show mine. I finally got it. Yo, so my wife brought this. Yeah. No, hold on. If you
Was
turn
this
yours
live?
on, I turn mine on. It says childhood game. That's the game that got me into the Pokemon series, like Gold, Silver, IVs, all this other stuff you are going to play. And it doesn't sound like a lot because you've already put too much hours on the game. 100 minutes, bro, that's crazy. But that's how I knew I was a Pokemon dude. Between all of the things I was dealing with in 9th grade, I managed with 300 hours, and I think like maybe a year span or something like that. Probably guess them. Let's play the game. What card?
Dude.
9 card. It's just a really good card. So if you can play Dominus Impulse, you should be playing Dominus Impulse. What's your next card? What? And we'll talk about that a little bit later into the video, but Lunalight is a very, very solid deck. Another card, Ash Blossom and Joy Spring.
Okay.
The card that everybody's on Twitter has been talking about. I don't know if you've seen
They
it.
said that it should be banned, and other people are
Yeah.
like, you're bad at the game if you think it should be banned.
It's
like,
a Pokemon Civil War where half of the people are saying
I've been
Ash
saying it
Blossom
should be banned ever since it came out.
and the other people are saying Ash Blossom, like you said, you're bad at the game if you side with it.
I think people have the wrong argument on this Ash Blossom entirely. I don't think the card should be banned or not banned.
Oh, I want to hear your
I
side.
think hand traps themselves should be addressed or not addressed.
Okay, so my perspective from hand traps, I think Ash Blossom is. I made an entire video on this, guy. So go ahead and.
That's actually the next video we're going to react
Exactly,
to.
it's a real reason why why people hate Ash Blossom, because it is a game-changing Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Absolutely.
It's
Let's see.
an Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Absolutely.
Because we now have a card that can hit just about every single deck in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
There's never been a card that has had that much potency. Even Maxi. Maxi became.
This video is kind of dookie so far. We'll go to his other one. I get it. Like, I make garbage videos too, but it's just not interesting. We'll go back to it, but since he made this one first, let's get the context and see what he has to say.
If you've played Yu-Gi-Oh for the last 9 years, then you know this card.
It's been used against you, you've drawn it at the wrong time, and of course, you've sworn at it. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring has defined all of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Really
for
low.
better or for worse. And today, we're diving into the deep history about this card and explaining why Yu-Gi-Oh! Players hate Ash Blossom. What's going on with y'all, big dogs? And it is an amazing day for most loved and hated cards in the entire game. And to be honest, I have to say, Konami played you. They played us all, because Ash Blossom is actually a pivoting point in Yu-Gi-Oh! It is the dawn of hand interactions and hyperactivity, something that players do dislike about the game. And even for the people that do like Ash Blossom, this video is actually going to show you how Konami operates, how they use certain chess pieces and move strategies.
We know how they operate. They don't give a damn.
And before we jump on in, I just want to say these are my favorite type of series of all time to do. I love talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially the boomer me loves talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! History. So if you guys like these type of videos, go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section what other videos you want to see. What do people hate the most? And then be sure to check out my playlist, as I probably already have what you're going to say. These deep dive videos are incredible. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Ash Blossom. Well,
like, here's the thing. The only reason everybody uses hand traps is to the simple point that all the douchebags are going to use them, and they're so powerful that you can't play the game anymore without hand traps. It's a pretty self-explanatory thing. It's a new mechanic that was introduced to the game that really makes it not Yu-Gi-Oh! And a card here and there that's a hand trap, that's fine. Where it's like a super powerful card. Again, if it was like a really hard card to get, it's if it came in only one rarity, only in one freaking, like, it's like a $500 card or whatever, that kind of stuff would be all right. But hand traps are all, you know, you could get them in commons. Everybody has them. Everybody shells out the money. Like, your deck is pretty much 20 hand traps and then some archetype. And it sucks.
Kind of. Because while Ash Blossom made his debut in Maximum Crisis, I actually have to take you guys 2 full sets before that so you can get a full scope of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta and the hand traps being used at the time. Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2016 wraps up on November 3rd with Invasion Vengeance. Now, looking at Invasion Vengeance, it doesn't really have a lot of things to be really excited about, at least from a meta player's perspective. Now, some of you guys may be looking at this set and seeing absolute bangers. I know I do. But competitively, this set was trash. Outside of introducing support to already established strategies in Paleozoic, this set really doesn't do much. I mean, at least in terms of bringing bad Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategies back into the limelight, this set is known to put Metal Foes onto the map, with monsters like Metal Foes Mithrilium to be able to take your opponent's most important cards, and Full Metal Foes Fusion, a way to be able to summon Outcasts on your opponent's turn and take their monsters. This set is the bee's knees for Metal Foes players and also Paleozoic, because not only do we finally get a playable set of trap monsters, you get 2 really powerful cards that can help dictate the pace of Yu-Gi-Oh! From here on out. One being Totally Awesome, a monster that rewards water-based Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks, and the others being Dimensional Barrier. Now, we can go into deep detail about this particular Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, and to be honest with you, I would love it. But in actuality, we're talking about Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, so if that's something that you want to see, go ahead and let me know down below too.
3 minutes.
But the reason why I bring up these cards, because even in a format where Dimensional Barrier exists, the meta is relatively open, especially when the DDD structure that comes out, Pendulum's Domination, the format actually has a lot of diversity and counterplay. So much so is that the only hand trap prevalent at this time is Maxi. Now, it's pretty obvious why Maxi is crammed in just about every single player's Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, but I want you to keep in mind, during this time, Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategies did not make super boards. There was really no such thing as a negation outside of cards like Totally Awesome, and special summoning didn't necessarily run rampant. Hell, to put things in perspective, Blue Eyes just won a world championship. This in no way was the fastest Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, but unfortunately, things start to change when we get our first real taste of a fast-paced meta. You see, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is first and foremost a card game, ran by a business, and you could say subleased by another business. So every year, these particular businesses
get to Ash Blossom, brother,
to create more money.
Got it.
Being the cheapest,
they want to make
underwhelming
money.
set, but contains some of the.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Like this is one of the reasons I don't really follow too many. And he's made some great content in the past. It's just like I want to know about Ash Blossom, and we haven't gotten anything.
Soldier, Crystron,
about Ash
Cyber
Blossom.
Angel, Gaia
It's
the
been
Fierce
already
Knight,
5
Ritual
minutes into
Beast,
the video.
Shadow, and a host of others. In essence, you can say that this set is almost a letdown.
Yeah.
And Zodiac, that would one exceed send to the graveyard and special summon another monster to your side of the field. Cards from your deck to the graveyard could is to really pay attention to that deck of all time. And
Okay, F it. Good Lord, dude. Almost halfway through the video, all you've said is the word Ash Blossom. Like, damn, man. What the hell? I don't really have the patience for all this. Oh, man, I was praising this guy, and like, this video is a whole lot of nothing so far. Look, let's. I make crappy videos too. I'm not freaking perfect. It's just bothering me that like I hate Ash Blossom so freaking much. I want to know. I want to get to the freaking Ash Blossom topic.
Things. It simply dominates the best decks in the game, and what it doesn't dominate, it combines with to make a super deck. The thing here is that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring actually has the text to beat all three of those effects I just mentioned. Ash Blossom is simply the do-it-all handyman. It stops card effects that adds from the deck, special summons from the deck, or sends from the deck to the graveyard. You see, Ash Blossom was the ultimate solution. A well-timed Ash Blossom can force a Zodiac player to pivot into something different or completely end their turn. Ironically, the package solution of Ash Blossom became an even bigger problem for any other strategy not the best decks in the game. Because not only did those strategies have to compete with Yu-Gi-Oh strategies that can combo with just one card, also since they need less cards in their deck, cramming cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring was a no-brainer. Ash Blossom not only immediately became a 3-of staple in every deck, the worst part about it is that it was a secret rare locked behind a main set in Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, you would need to buy a number of boxes, possibly even cases, to get your copies of Ash.
Look, I'm going to point something out. I think with hand traps, the game needs to kind of change some of the rules, and one of the rules being it's now required to have a minimum of 60 cards in your deck. That way it ensures that just because you have 30 hand traps in your deck doesn't necessarily mean you're going to draw the right ones to counter the right hand traps from your opponent. I think the way Konami's running things, that might be the only way to do it without getting like too detailed. You guys saw I made a video about not only Ash Blossom, but hand traps in particular, of how to make the game fun again, because the big issue is that everybody, half their deck is just hand traps. It's not fun. It's just so that they could possibly go a second turn. Like whoever goes second, they're just trying to survive. They're not even trying to make a play. They're trying to survive because the Yu-Gi-Oh test turn into rock, paper, scissors or solitaire or both. And so whoever wins the coin toss, wins rock, paper, scissors, and goes first, they're most likely going to win. Just because they get to build their board. And your opponent only has 5 cards in their hand. So, man, there's ways to make the game fun again. The number one thing to do is, the first thing Konami's got to do is stop printing new cards. Got to stop printing new cards, focus on the rules, see what they got right now. And it's going to be rule changes more than like getting a new card to counter this or making something more competitive. It's rule changes.
So from 2017 to 2019, Ash Blossom became one of the most powerful cards in the entire game.
I freaking hate Ash
And
Blossom
it wasn't
so much.
a tech choice. it was an absolute necessity. Ash Blossom's biggest problem at the time is that not only was it super expensive, it was universal. During this time, before the hand trap era starts off, the only popular hand
those of
traps
you who were
because it
in my live stream the other day as I was playing Master Duel, I went on a rant about Ash Blossom. Like Ash Blossom, like the wording on a card is super important. So Ash Blossom, if you go back, it says, or if you have, I think everybody who plays Yu-Gi-Oh has Ash Blossom. It says, adding cards to your hand, it can negate, right? Adding. And for some reason, it negates Max C, and that is not how Max C works. It draws after you special summon. Draw. Draw and adding are two different words that mean two very different things. So Ash Blossom shouldn't be able to cancel out Max C. It shouldn't be able to cancel out Pot of Greed. It shouldn't be able to cancel out Graceful Charity. It shouldn't be able to cancel out Magician Souls. It can cancel out things like Card Advance. Or not even Card Advance. Dark Magical Circle. Or anything that excavates and then you get to add cards to your hand. That it could do. But it's add. Adding means you're adding a specific freaking card to your hand. And so that's where Ash Blossom doesn't make sense to work. It's ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous.
To draw more cards, but those cards could only be used during your turn for the most part. Effect Veiler, which can negate monster effect activations, but only during your turn. Drooling Lockbird, which was a completely useless card until the power creep happened. And Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which pretty much was the same. Ironically, these hand traps, even Maxi, required certain situations to be really successful inside of a
Ghost
format.
Ogre and Snow
the
Rabbit,
problem with Ash Blossom during this time is that
it's a great card. I think it's very well balanced.
Yu-Gi-Oh strategy in the game. It was on release and during the time an $80 card, a mandatory card for competitive deck builders, and a complete pain to deal with. But that's not even the worst thing about Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to most Yu-Gi-Oh players. Players hate Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring simply because it does the opposite of what it was designed to do. It actually kills interaction in Yu-Gi-Oh! It isn't like old hand traps like Effect Veiler or Ghost Ogre during the time that reward you for skilled gameplay. Effect Veiler being able to stop monster effects, but only being used during the main phase. And Ghost Ogre being able to destroy a card, but unfortunately allows monster effects to go through. This card during this time is a walking Omni negation. It simply can stop the opponent's entire turn just with one card. And unfortunately for it, the solution is also another problem. Ash Blossom started us on the vicious cycle that we are in today. Everybody runs Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and since it's so universally good, you need multiple ways to be able to start your combo. In turn, Konami then prints multiple starters for your favorite deck to be able to keep up, but because of this, they need to print more hand traps to be able to stop those starters. And now, because there's more hand traps to be able to stop your combo, Konami then prints more extender cards for your Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Konami creating a problem that can only be solved by making more Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Unfortunately, Yu-Gi-Oh becomes less of a game about summoning powerful monsters and more of a game about opening the correct amount of hand traps alongside of the correct amount of starters and extenders. Yu-Gi-Oh is supposed to be about awesome combos and creative strategies as well as big plays, but unfortunately, players hate Ash Blossom because it takes away from it. It's not necessarily the fact that hand traps exist, is that there's a do-it-all hand trap that can suppress your Yu-Gi-Oh combo no matter where you turn. And the worst part about—
Okay. I think I'm losing my patience. I think the video's good, but it just took too long for me to care. That's me personally. I'm not saying it's a crappy video. For me, it's like a good 6 out of 10, but that's me. Look, when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, and we'll get to the Paramount stuff again, but when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, their freaking way of handling not only power creeps, entertainment, people aren't even watching like YCSs and Worlds anymore. Like every year it goes down, and every year they lose money. Like it's not that they're losing money as in they're not profitable, but they're just not as profitable as the year before. You know, like if they sell 10 cards every year, they're selling now 9 cards. The next year they're gonna sell 8 cards. Like, put in simple numbers, they're not freaking handling their business right to get people to keep caring about Yu-Gi-Oh. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. Because that means the game in, I would say, 2 generations is going to die out. It's going to die out. There's no way it survives. And especially like cards like Ash Blossom. Yeah, it kills interaction. And interaction is the point of the game. Right? Like, there's no card that you could play on the field that will counter Ash Blossom. Like, a card should be able to be negated. Every card in its base should be able to be negated or reacted to, attacked. Something should be able to happen to that card, right? Where your opponent can have a response to whatever card you play. But when something is dealt from the hand, like Ash Blossom, where it just negates and then it goes to the graveyard, you can't like, there's no card that's like an Ash Blossom to Ash Blossom and Ash Blossom. You know what I mean? It's a freaking garbage card. But now I want to talk about the Paramount stuff again. Like I said, video games is where Paramount can make its money. It's where, like, it's the only really viable way to get fans interested in their current properties. And again, just because Paramount and Skydance now acquired Warner Brothers, we're not going to see them do anything or even have control for at least 6 months to a year. Like, they're not going to be able to do anything. It's a pretty simple thing. Like, there's a lot of contracts they have to read over. There's a lot of stuff that they have to figure out and make plans for. And so and James Gunn is not, he is not, and we might listen to John Campea. I hate the guy, but John Campea has been talking about it a lot. And usually he's just a full retard, but he usually has inside scoops on or at least claims to have inside scoops on the retardations that goes on in Hollywood. And he's on the wrong side usually, but yeah. I don't even know which video we should watch. Because I'm not even, just looking at his channel makes me pissed. Whatever. Anyways. So, I think in order for things to go better at Warner Brothers, at Skydance, Paramount, all that stuff, so that we can actually feel confident in what they're doing, is actually through video games, where they actually can manipulate storytelling that get people way more engaged in the story without having to deal with like the actual studio being behind it, right? I know I sounded retarded to myself. It didn't really make sense. What I mean to say is, when you make a game, right? Let's say they take the Peter Jackson movies of Lord of the Rings. They make a video game like Elden Ring in the Lord of the Rings universe. I think everybody would be pretty happy with that, right? And then you can go through that game and add things from the book that we don't get to see in the movies that is more palatable in a video game. Then you take something, and Elden Ring takes place in the Game of Thrones universe, right? I didn't really get to play the game. But you make Game of Thrones, and let's say you make a video game that is right after season 4, and you correct all the issues that all the fans, got betrayed on after season 4 all the way to season 8 with that terrible ending of Game of Thrones. Because that's a way to retcon the freaking ending of a beautiful show in terms of writing, like something that we never really gotten before and haven't gotten since. House of the Dragon is kind of wishy-washy, but it's like half good, it's like 70% good, 30% bad. But let's say like the actors don't want to come back. Let's say there's the petition goes through again, and the actors don't want to come back. They don't have to sign a contract. We're not gonna get all the same actors. A lot of them are too old. Some have died. Blah 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 blah. Well, through a video game, through that medium, you can satisfy those fans and also prop up the current properties you own by giving us faith that like you are focusing on storytelling. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. When you focus on storytelling in that way and propping up your properties through video games, it lasts a long time because people are spending a whole lot of time with it. So their memories are solidifying in those things. Like it's a pretty freaking no brainer. It's like the video games are pretty much a marketing move. Okay. Now, when they actually make shoot, let me exit out of this freaking A. Just creating a massive lag. When they actually make a game to, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day where they released a movie and then a video game followed right after. Don't you guys think it's insane that we've never gotten a Superman video game? Don't you guys think that's insane? Like, think about it this way. I don't want the Snyderverse to come back. But what if it comes back through the video games? Okay? Where, again, they rewrite. So, what's up, man? The topic is about how Paramount's going to make their money. So I talked about it in the beginning of the show. And then I wanted to react to some of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and it was just like getting annoying. But so we're going to just talk about how Paramount can make their money back, get faith to the fans. Because right now, we're still going to get the James Gunn stuff, at least for the next year. And that is really what's going to keep James Gunn his job. Okay? If Lanterns is good, then we get the James Gunn universe, that DC universe. The Snyderverse would have maybe come back with Netflix. We don't know. But obviously, Zack Snyder still wants to create his Snyderverse. Like, he was posting the stuff about, his Justice League, his Superman, his Batman, all over Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. And he's still doing it. So he's trying to get the fans talking again. Okay? So Paramount and Warner Brothers, they hold a lot of properties. TMNT, Transformers. They hold nostalgia. And that's a really powerful thing. They like, Warner Brothers is the dumbest company to exist in terms of a media company, right? Or a production company. Because they had all this stuff and knew not what to do with it. Like, they had Tom and Jerry, they had Looney Tunes, and they had pretty much something for every single what's the right word? Every single generation and age. It's had something for kids, teenagers, adults, old people. They had that stuff. And now Paramount has a conglomerate of pretty much our childhood. Like, it's pretty impressive what they got. Like, Disney holds a lot of stuff. They got like Toy Story, all their Pixar stuff. They do hold, I would say, probably more valuable stuff. But in terms of, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon themselves, like, that's what, at least my generation, anybody born in the 90s and early 2000s, that's what you grew up on. And they now own that. So they have a massive opportunity to capitalize on nostalgia and then bring in their new stuff. So, yeah, I hope that cleared it up a bit. But I talked about it on multiple podcasts. I've talked about this. Forgive me, I'm freaking exhausted. But I think nobody's talking about how owning DC, owning Game of Thrones, owning the rights to Lord of the Rings, owning Transformers, owning Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those 5 alone, Avatar: The Last Airbender, but those first 5, you could make a bunch of video games. And I think one way to get people interested again in, let's say, the Snyderverse. Man of Steel is a garbage movie. Okay? Batman vs. Superman, garbage movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League. All Zack Snyder stuff sucks. But you can rewrite it through a video game. Meaning like fixing the issues and progressing, I guess, the hype around the Snyderverse. And then showing that like, oh yeah, we did screw up, but we're focusing on story. Because the big issue is, like the guy in Paramount, he's friends with Trump, and now it's all going to be right-wing stuff, and he's going to manipulate the media, and we're going to get like the whole other side, and this is a problem, blah, 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 blah. Again, Starfleet Academy, one of the gayest sci-fi bullcrap to ever exist, was by Paramount. The bastardization of Halo into a TV show was Paramount. Like, he can't do it all. He's going to hire certain people, and those people are going to be the ones that either are going to implement politics or messages or focus on story. And he needs to find the right people to focus on the story. James Gunn, he focused on his own. I wouldn't say he focused on politics, but he focused on his own, maybe with Peacemaker a little bit. But he focused on his own like circle jerk of friends of like, look at this movie that I made. Like, aren't you impressed? Instead of actually writing a story, sitting down, thinking it through, planning out a universe, and then just... Guys, I don't know if I can keep talking about this today, man. It's pissing me off. But I do think DC is better with Paramount, and I need James Gunn out. I don't think he has anything to offer DC. My main concern is with Lord of the Rings. I don't know what they're going to do. They don't need to make anything Lord of the Rings related for a while because they made War of the Rohirrim. The Hunt for Gollum is coming out. I don't think it's going to be good. Mainly Viggo Mortensen. He's not coming back. At least from all the things we hear, right? And Ian McKellen, he's up there in age, and I have no idea how that's going to translate. Like, do I want to see him back as Gandalf? Absolutely. Do I want to see anybody else playing Gandalf? Freak no. But like, this is going to tie in directly to the Peter Jackson movies. I think the Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson movies can't be tainted at all. I think it's solidified as their own thing. And like, even with the Hobbit movies coming out, we're still like, nope, masterpiece of this trilogy. This is the best trilogy to ever freaking exist, and they can't touch it. Now, one of the big reasons it was a great thing for Paramount to purchase Warner Brothers is because physical media will stay alive. Netflix was not going to do that. They were not going to have your 4K steelbooks of Lord of the Rings. They're not going to have your 4K steelbooks of the Game of Thrones series. They're not going to have like the books of behind the scenes of the DCU or the Snyderverse. They're not going to do that stuff, man. And I want that kind of memorabilia. I want that the hard copies. Like, I don't want to freaking always have, like, if my internet, can't pay the internet bill, or the other day, like 2 weeks ago, we had a data crash. Like, my TV, Xbox all still worked, but I couldn't do anything live. I couldn't freaking use the internet, and I went through my movies to watch with my wife, and there was like, I had the 4K Hulk, the Steelbook. I have Harry Potter. Man, just Harry Potter alone. And again, like, they can't change. I don't think they could change what's going on with Harry Potter. I think it's still going to be a woke piece of garbage. I think these are the arguments I'm hearing. Is like, hey, at least like now the stuff that was woke, we're going to get a recast of Snape. We're going to get all this because of this guy. No, it's not going to happen. They can't actually do anything with these properties probably for another 6 months to a year. They actually have to plan it out. There's contracts that have to be looked over, but they own it. Okay, there's some things that still need to happen. But like they own it now. There's just things that need to happen before they can actually mess with stuff. And those things that are in production, like the Harry Potter series, it's gonna stay that way. It's not going to. He's not gonna change it. And like he's one man. He's the CEO. If you take Kathleen Kennedy, she approved all that stuff. She had her hands in that kind of stuff. But Dave Filoni was the lore master at one point, or still is, ever since Rise of Skywalker. And then we saw what he did to Star Wars. We got the Acolyte because of Dave Filoni. We got the Clone Wars because of George Lucas and Dave Filoni. And I think that sucks. It's probably the worst thing that George Lucas has ever done for Star Wars is the Clone Wars. Yeah, there's been, a lot of damage. And it also is with the staff. Like, whenever a company absorbs another company or buys a company, there's going to be some massive layoffs. Okay, that's the first thing they got to figure out. And at least half the staff is leaving. At the very least, half the staff. And it's very hard to just go in and just fire half the staff. This isn't like a Twitter situation where there was 80% of people were literally doing nothing. This is a situation where probably 50% are doing crap work, but they're still doing work that was required from the previous CEO. So they have to assess who's valuable and who isn't. It ain't rocket science, but that's all I really want to point out today. I know the stream was freaking all over the place. I tried to do the freaking dual stream bullcrap vertical thing, and I'm probably never gonna mess with that ever again. It pisses me off. But yeah, guys, I will see you guys probably tomorrow and do an actual stream that I actually care about. Peace.